I guess that works. Okay, my name is Nathaniel and I am doing my oral comp speech. This is my audience. This is Dan. And this is Ed. And Ed, the one holding the camera. Okay, so instead of using note cards, I'm going to use my phone. Just because it's a little bit easier and I won't have to flip every 5 seconds. I can keep more eye contact. But my subject, or my persuasive speech, is about trying to shorten the school day or the school week to 4 days instead of having it 5 days. Thank you, Dan. I like the fist pumping that you're giving me.
No school on Friday. No school on Friday.
Yeah. So to start off, I'm just going to explain some of the things that I went through. My school district had a 5-day school week. It was kind of hard because, well, the average school week is 5 days for most school districts, depending on the school district. And it was kind of hard because I played 2 sports while I was doing my schoolwork. It made homework a little harder. With a day off, you can there's quite a few benefits, and we'll go over those further into the speech. So the amount of time that a high school student is in class is 180 days, typically from August until about mid-May, and they spend about, depending on the school, 7 to 8 hours at school. So a lot of schools will start at 8 a.m. and they will end around 3. Some schools do like 2:30. It also depends on the school district, like I said. I want to cover a couple topics, like what's happening with a 5-day school week, then talk about how making it a 4-day school week will lower some of the stress and some of the cons of having a 5-day school week. And then I'll start talking about how we can implement those changes and some of the benefits of that as well. So let's begin with some current facts about high school here in America, or school in general, with the 5-day work or 5-day week. So traditionally, high schoolers, or in my high school, we went to school Monday through Friday, 8 to 3. And according to the Association of Supervision, which is my paired with my second source in my works cited page, they said that most schools serve mornings best. So which means the school day being earlier in the morning is more beneficial, is what they're saying. Even the most adolescent or sharp kids have about the same range whenever it comes to the 5-day school week. And this can all on their top end of giving students the right time. That also comes into the 4-day school week, because a lot of people will start at 9 a.m. and then go until 4 or 5. A lot of the times that'll be the schedule of their parents' work. A lot of people go 9 to 5 or 9 to 4. Implementing this long school week is saying that the 5-day school week, it's harder to retain what they learn in school. It's weird because as long as they retain it, in a 4-day school week, they have a day of break. So each class in that 8-hour day is usually around 50 minutes. So that means that they're switching class, trying to retain that information every 50 minutes, and then that's for 5 days straight. So with a 5-day school week, there's another big thing with transportation. It's needed for a lot of the students there, a lot of the younger students, in case their parents have work. And so here's some facts on school buses, which is the modern transportation for kids that need transportation to school. So the American School Bus Council, which was I think my third source on my works cited page, said that school bus usually only gets around 7 miles to the gallon, and it takes diesel fuel. So all the school buses in America, usually on average will use 822 million gallons of diesel fuel, which at the price it is now, which is $4.02, that is 3,416,657,143,410 that is spent on gas alone. So if we cut off a day of that school week, that's quite a bit of money that's going straight back to the school instead of having to spend it on buses or on transportation for these kids. So that's just one of the benefits. Also, with a longer school week, teachers struggle with teaching effectively sometimes. Students lose focus, and the transportation is needed, and that costs money. So we can cover the possibilities of shortening a school week. I'm going to focus mostly on my school district, which was Waynesville High School. So implementing a 4-day week could be key to moving to effective teaching in America. Study shows that the shorter the week, the teachers are a little bit less likely to just try to cram everything in, and especially with sports, like I said earlier, kids that play sports, they'll be able to have that day of rest, that day to catch up on homework, anything that's due. A lot of the overall, a 4-day system can be very beneficial for both students and teachers. How would we go about doing that? So the 4-day school week would involve voting among the school board, because they're the ones that control that. They are the ones that can implement that. And I've seen Waynesville High School, they thought about doing it and they did take a vote, but it was denied. And so obviously the first day of the week would be cut out of the student scheduling. So that means Mondays would be cut out. So either Mondays or Fridays could be cut out. And that's really beneficial because it gives them an extra day on the weekend. Mondays are usually that day that everybody comes back really groggy, and nobody likes Mondays. If Friday is cut out, schools will save money on all the gas, which is I said earlier. In addition to that, people will be able to save money on transportation because, like I said, they're not driving there. And then to sum it all up, a 5-day schedule has worked for many schools, always, because it's always changing. I would like to see a 4-day school week implemented in a lot of schools, especially back home where I'm from. And then switching to a 4-day school week system could help fix the issues that a 5-day school week has, especially with the buses and with the student athletes. Putting into effect a 4-day school week takes a matter of voting within the school, and simply it just has adjusting schedules. A lot of people will move to block schedule, and it's not bad. It's where they have a class for 2 hours instead of 1. And then in all, a 4-day school week should be considered more often through the school board than a 5-day school week, just because of all the benefits. You see a lot more pros than cons, and that pretty much sums up my speech.